Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Envision Me Talk Show. So, I always start the show with, how are you doing? I hope you all are doing well. So, guess what? I have another amazing guest, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm bringing some powerhouse on. So, I hope you grab your pen, paper, your girlfriend and girlfriends. Oh, and guess what, you guys? I do have my look. Look, I'll go this way. I do have my drink here. We go have some fun with her. But before I bring her from the green room, let me introduce myself. My name is Pam and I'm the CEO of Vision Made Media. And we put on the podcast show of Envision Me Talk Show every week, where we come in here, we sit down, and we just do get downright deep on how we've gotten to where we are, but knowing that we facing obstacles, and you get to hear the obstacles. Why do I want to hear? Why do you want to hear the obstacles? So many women around the world sees just us doing things but don't know what we've gone through, and I want you to know that what we've gone through is how we got here. And so you can go after your what's next knowing that there's so many women that are in your corner. And if you don't believe me, drop it in the feed and I definitely will let you show that will definitely show you who's in your corner. I also want to let you know today's show is sponsored by two people. The first one is At the Table. At the Table is a nonprofit organization here in Columbus, Ohio. Actually, they're having a scholarship drive right now where they are awarding $1,000 to one recipient, high school or college. If you know anyone who's interested in a college scholarship, who doesn't? Who doesn't need money for school? I know I did. If you know anyone, drop it in feed, or actually what I will do is drop the link on how you can apply for the Denise Pittman scholarship for At the Table. So without further ado, y'all, I will be bringing into today's guest, who is Courtney Lee. Courtney Lee, look, let me tongue twister here for a moment. Courtney Lee. She is the CEO and founder of Courtney Lee Boutique. She does trainings, executive trainings, you guys, as well as she specializes in events. Now, what she does in her corporation, we're gonna let her tell that. So let me bring her on, Miss Courtney. How you
Hello.
doing, lady?
I'm good. I'm fine on this wonderful Wednesday. How are you?
I am good. Look, a little chilly here in Columbus, but it's
Yeah.
winter, so we gotta adapt.
California's been having a chilly winter too. Like
I
we definitely
heard,
are catching up with the rest of the country when it comes to cold.
I heard that you guys were like 40. I heard some 40 degrees. I'm like, oh well, I'm glad everyone gets to experience what we experience every day. I'm sorry, but I did hear that though.
Yeah, I was in Ohio outside of Toledo, Fremont for a year and a half
Yeah.
working in Toledo. And so I was there when it was like the big ice storm and we shut down for, I remember opening my back door and having my like literally it felt like the moisture on my eyeballs.
Yeah.
I know that Ohio has something much different than what I'm experiencing here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for joining us here. This is going to be so exciting. So, tell everybody a little bit more about yourself and your amazing boutique that you have.
Yeah. So my name is Courtney Torres, and I am the owner of Courtney Lee LLC, and it's a boutique agency. So we generally specialize in event and professional services. We so on the way it evolved really was that I spent the bulk of my life starting in 1998 in education and kind of went through the ranks that way, as a teacher and then later as a principal, and then more currently in my full-time employment, I am a leadership coach for school principals across the country. And that was the progression for me where, starting as a teacher in 1998. Courtney Lee LLC is me pulling from the things that I really liked doing in all of those positions. So along the way, not only was I a principal, but, I was the executive director of education for 3 states of the NAACP for a number of years. And I have, a wealth of other like community activism experience, volunteering in the prisons. And of those things that I've done over the last 25, I guess, 25, nearly 30 years, I wanted to pull what I enjoyed the best.
Mhm.
And what I liked most about being a school leader was as far as my actual role and responsibilities, I really enjoyed training the teachers. I enjoyed doing the PD. I enjoyed going in and, observing instruction and doing that kind of that intellectual work around academic improvement. And I liked the coaching, right? And so in my current work at New Leaders, that's what we do. We coach and develop principals who serve students in schools across this nation. And the majority of the schools across this nation serve, when we're talking about large public school systems, we're talking about schools that are full of Black and brown children. And so our work is there. What I pulled from that I really loved was the coaching. And so I started digging into the work of the coaching, because we know that if we want to get, be good at what we do, we have to be consummate consumers of the work and, read and study and train. And I really started getting interested in mindset work. And so that is what I'm doing outside of, my work with New Leaders. I am focusing on individuals and organizations who want to essentially have impact on their ways of being, and they want to set goals and have somebody really kind of coach them and walk them through the process of going from where they currently are to their aspirational state. And so I do that with individuals. I do it with organizations. My favorite part and my baby and the part of that organization that I'm really trying to get off the ground right now is the walk and talk coaching, because I'm an avid hiker. And I found myself like giving a lot of free advice on the trails. And so one of my friends was like, "Oh, you should do this for money." And I was like, "You know what? I should." And now I am offering, coaching to those who also want to let the added, the added endorphins and everything that we get from the sun and the air really help them as they are processing their life and coming up with next steps. So that is Courtney Lee LLC in a very big nutshell.
Well, I've already look in that little nutshell you just said. I have already taken down my notes, so I'm like super excited about talking about. Let's go back a little bit. As you were going transitioning from one of your specialties to another? What was some of the struggles that you faced? Because we all face them. What was the struggle that you faced, and how did you get through it?
Struggle. um, I honestly, I think like right now, the thing that I've been really having some dissonance around in my work is narrowing down and getting really clear about my niche, which is why I took some time to pause and like explain the walk and talk coaching, because that is kind of a very minute part of what I do, but I think it's really important to do the part of the work that the part that makes you feel happy, and then that you're doing the right work when other people are being served from the things that you're doing, and then the money comes from that. I feel like obviously the biggest struggle in trying to move from a person who is contracted employed to who is hopefully one day being totally self-sufficient as a independent business owner is the raising of capital and the marketing of the brand. So making sure that people know that you're out there.
I so agree with you. You know why I was laughing when you had said, I have to jump over a little bit and then we'll go back. The reason why I was smiling so big about you offering the walk and talk coaching, funny enough, I just started really honing in on my health. And I just told one of my health coaches yesterday, we were on a call. I'm like, you know what? I want to offer a walk and talk because I love to walk. I love to walk. And so I'm like, I want to offer a walk and talk, but incorporating some of the health pieces of it, understanding the importance of us walking. But then we can do two things at once. So I'm so glad, happy, and excited that you're doing something like that. I'm excited. I can't wait to it cool, when it warms up a little bit so we can implement it. But I'm glad that to hear other people or women such as yourself that are going out here incorporating your health, but also incorporating what you love to do, which is the coaching, right? And so,
Mhm.
like you said, why not capitalize on your walking and you're talking and you're educating and empowering people through that walk? What perfect way to do it. So kudos to you. I had to laugh. I'm like, yeah, that was what I'm talking about doing too. But kudos to you. So I love that. But let's turn back around a little bit. And I understand about the struggles of raising the capital piece of it. But other struggle I like to talk about is, and actually you talked about it in the article that you had submitted for Vision Made, the power of yes. And man, that is a powerful piece. Actually, I let my mom read it. She said, "Oh my goodness, are you putting that in the magazine?" I go, "Yes, ma'am." She's okay. And I go, "Well, do you want me to ask her anything?" I go, "Well, mom, you can come on." She's like, "I'm not coming on. But if I send you questions, can you ask her?" I go, "Yes, ma'am, I can." But then,
Did she send them?
yeah, she did. She
Okay.
loved it. She still has it. And I'm asked her, I said, "Well, mom, you can send me questions." Okay, our parents, when they get to knowing the gadgets and the electronic devices, they're excited. So
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm not coming on. I don't know how to do it." I'm like, "Well, then send me, the questions." But she was saying that you hit it on the head, especially with us women, the power in yes. But first we have to learn how to say no, which was
Mhm.
so powerful in there. And she had really connected to it. And she was saying how, and she wanted to know, how did you even get to this point? How did you even get the strength to say no, which then allowed the yes to come in? That was her first question. She had many more. So hopefully she'll keep hitting us up. But that was her first question she just sent to us.
Yeah. And that's a good lead in to get me to think about a struggle, right?
Yes.
I think the way that I came to understanding how powerful it was to say yes was because, I think we hear a lot as women, we kind of go through these phases where some, like certain phrases or certain things kind of become like the champion, or the things that we kind of champion as a group. And for a long time there was, us championing the idea of, standing behind our no, right? Like saying no, stop burning yourself out. um and so I was like, I was with it. I'm saying no all over the place. And so it what it did though at some point made me realize that you know I wasn't doing anything. I didn't know any new people. I hadn't had any new experiences. I was very much isolated in the little capsule that I had created for myself by limiting the amount of experiences that I would be able to have simply by fear, right? Because generally it's much easier to say no than to say I'm scared, right?
Mhm.
Or to
Absolutely.
say I'm afraid. And it really can be masked as strength. I know how to say no, like in like established boundaries. And there's definitely something to be said about us upholding our own boundaries. um I think the struggle came when I realized that I was limited in my thinking because I had limited myself. And so I had to develop courage to say, when you assess your life, and like hopefully we all do consistently, is this where I want to be? And if not, what do I need to do to adjust? And I want to say honestly, at that time, this was very specific to relationships, right?
Mm.
And so I had, I've been married. I have three beautiful, wonderful, grown-ish kids, and it spent my whole entire life only having dated Black men and being very strong in my resolve to only date Black men, and and it wasn't working in my favor. And so the very first thing that I decided to do was to say yes to somebody who wasn't Black when they asked me out. And that was the door that opened it all up for me. Like then I started saying yes to all kinds of things I was, scared to say yes to, or a little bit leery. When you aren't sure, you say no. And so I just started saying yes to things, and then the ball started rolling, and things started happening. And then you end up, I end up on a podcast with you. Like, it's just like that's just the way it happens when you start to open yourself up to the things that the universe has for you. So I would say.
I I'd have to agree with you on setting boundaries because I have to tell you, I just learned how to set boundaries. I mean, I was allowing everything to come through my cross my path, and I'm like, and I didn't understand the power of saying no. I promise you until this year, or we'll say last year, at the end of last year. That's when I started learning to the power in no, which then allowed the yes to come in. And you're right, once you learn how to use that no, which creates the boundaries, which then knocks down the fear, which fear controls us so much, it stifles us to the point of sometimes it keeps us in that same box. But once
Mhm.
you learn how to use that no, which then allows the yes to come in, you're right, so many opportunities open up. For me, it was a relief lifted, a big, I have to say, to me it felt like the weight was lifted off of my shoulders, and I could
Mhm.
look around, and things looking, as I'm looking to the left and to the right and to the front and to the behind me, it was so much clear. It was like, wow, well, where was that picture at? And so it allows you to see things in a different, it's a different lens. And so my mom, going back to my mom, and she was like, I wish she had known how to say no, but understand the power of yes. Because back in her day, they were all about, not causing confrontation, not hurting anyone's feelings, but yet their feelings, how they felt, keep it inside of them. And I
Mhm.
asked my mom when she did that, how did it make her really feel? And she said she felt that it just stifled her a little bit. And so knowing that, and I told her, but it's okay to say no, and it's your boundaries and not anyone else's. And I want everybody to understand that, because so many women around us are saying no. I want to go after my what's next, but the butts are standing in my way. And I want everyone to understand it's okay for the butt to stand in your way, but you have to fight for your yes. And don't let the woulda, coulda, shouldas build up.
Mhm.
We all do it, but it's also taking that power back and going after your what's next. So,
Mhm.
Courtney, when we have, say, for instance, because we have women around the world that are sitting at their desk and like, wow, how can I get that power in saying no so I can gain the yes? What would your one suggestion would be to them?
You know, I would say like no amount of growth or progression will come without like first being deeply reflective, like taking some time to really assess yourself,
I love
right?
that. Absolutely.
And think about the decisions and the internal components that have created your what's now, like what's happening now.
Right.
Because when you do that, you realize that your what's now is a result of every single decision that you made, every single yes and every single no, right?
Absolutely.
And so, if there is something specific that you want, like if there is a what's next that you want, and you name that thing, it's important that when you are given choices or asked a question or presented with opportunity, that when you are making a decision about saying yes or no, you use your vision as the guide, right? Like,
Absolutely.
is this going to bring me closer to my goal? If so, the answer is yes. Is this going to bring me closer to my goal? If not, the answer is no. So when you have a purpose, right, and you're using your purpose as the guiding star, let that guide your yeses and your nos.
I love that. So, Courtney, as we're, believe it or not, our time, we're almost halfway through the show. Time has gone by super
Yeah,
fast. This has
yeah,
been fun. Thank you.
my
So,
pleasure.
if anybody would like to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
Thank you for asking. So I have a website. It is simply Courtney Lee dot online. You can also reach me via email at contact at Courtney Lee dot online. And then I also am reachable via social media on Facebook. I'm at Walk and Talk Coaching.
Love it. Before we take a break, real quick, Courtney, what is your what's next?
Yeah. Oh, man. So I don't know if that's not so. First of all, that's not a quick question. It has a little bit of umph to it, a little bit of bite in
Okay.
there. But I definitely have set some goals that are specific to building, increasing and improving my health and improving my wealth. Um, and it as far as the vision for my professional legacy, my immediate goals are around really building up Courtney Lee LLC to have a pretty, solid calendar full of people who want to walk and talk, that on a short term goal. But this business is a smaller component of a larger vision that includes um, um, real estate, hospitality, I guess, to say it in a few words. And then I have some really specific health goals with my 50th coming in a few months.
Ooh, yay! That is gonna be so cool.
I
So
know.
I'm so excited and thank you for your what's next. So everybody, anybody in there, I see we have some followers. I would love for you guys to drop it in the feed and tell us what is your win for this week. And you'll get to hear ours in just a few moments. If you guys don't know, I love celebrating people's win. And so drop it in the feed so we can give you a shout out and talk about your win. Or better yet, what's your what's next? And do you need help with your what's next? And if you do need help, put it in the feed and say help. And it either will be myself or I will pass it over to Miss Courtney, and we will definitely help you to your what's next. Miss Courtney, I'm going to put you in the green room. We'll bring you back in a few moments, and we're going to have a little bit of fun. So just hang in there with us for just a moment. So everybody, did you guys get your nuggets? I wrote down, look, I have mine. I have so many nuggets here that she had dropped some amazing nuggets. She talked about the power of no with the power of yes. If you guys did not catch, Miss Courtney has written an article in Vision Made magazine. It will actually come into the next edition, The Power of Yes. If you want to catch the entire article, you'll have to stay tuned. I'll let you guys all know when you will be able to get that subscription. But thank you very much for all of you joining. Please drop it in the feed and let us know what your win is for this evening. Everybody, my phone is dinging and everyone's like, well, what is a win? A win is when you have set a goal and you've already met the goal. Or better yet, you set a goal and you know you'll achieve it before the end of the week. Or better yet, you're thinking about it, but you just don't know where to start at. A win is a win is a win. And you guys, I love celebrating. So drop it in the feed and let me know your win. I love to give you a shout out. I love celebrating. So let me tell you, everybody, the second half of the show is sponsored by Vision Made Magazine. Vision Made Magazine is a quarterly empowerment magazine. It is all about empowering you to go after your what's next. In the magazine, you can find power words. You can even find where you can even do a vision board for your business as well as for your personal. There's also inspirational stories. We have several of them. One is all about how to handle solo parenting, as well as there is some personal development and many other stories. If you're interested in collecting, or if you're interested in getting the issue of that magazine, drop it in the feed and I will let you know how to connect or how you can get that issue. We also are running a special where if you would enroll or if you would like to purchase a yearly subscription of Vision Made magazine, guess what you get, you guys? You guys get a gift. Yes, a gift. And the gift is the vision one bag, one goal in the bag vision board. It is a kit, vision board kit that removes all excuses. What excuses? There is boards and the board is in there. Scissors are in there. Stickers, tape, magazines, everything you need to make your vision board in that bag. If you're interested in that, again, drop it in the feed and I'll definitely connect to you. So I'm going to bring back Miss Courtney. We're just going to have a little fun. We're going to ask her some things about what does she do for self-care? As you all know, we also talk about book on the shelf and anything else. So let me bring her back and let's ask her some of those questions. Okay, Miss Courtney. So I don't know if you heard me, but one thing we believe here is all about self-care. So what is some of the self-care that you do for yourself?
Yep. Yeah, I am a big proponent of self-care, mind, body, soul. And so as we get older, one of the things we have to protect is our minds. And in order to keep that sharp, doctors recommend you read at least 20 minutes a day. And so that is something I do for self-care. I also talked about it earlier. I hike, me and my friends. We have a hiking group and we go out on Sundays. We haven't gone in a while, but now that the weather is nice again, hopefully we'll get out there soon, and I'll do hiking on the weekends. And during the week I run. So I do that for my body. I'm really kind of invested in my cardiovascular health. I think that's kind of been the focus of my workouts. And then of course I do the other things that people call self-care. Like I love to go out to eat, like to go to brunch and, get manicures and pedicures. But I do prioritize the things that are going to extend my life as part of self-care.
I love it. I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that you do self-care, and I wanted other women around the world know that you do it, because so many women forget that piece, right? So many women forget to take care of themselves for, for family, for other things that's going on, and they need to stop and take care of themselves. And knowing that you can just do it, less than, like, I even love that you said 20 minutes reading. Yeah, I love to read too. Which leads into the next segment is book on the shelf. Here we always believe about, in order to get to your what's next, you have to expand your mind. And one perfect way of expanding your mind is reading. So do you have a book on the shelf that you would like to recommend to anyone currently?
Book on the shelf that I want to recommend. You know, uh, so I wish I was prepared. I actually have a lot of books on my shelf. I think that's what I'm looking at. I was turning around
Okay.
and looking at them. But I think one that I found really interesting is The Untethered Soul. And
Ooh,
it's about essentially like really understanding who you are, like the you inside the you. And so it really has kind of challenged my mind to kind of understand that concept. But life in general has really been having me think through like the concept of who the you is inside of me. So I'd say Untethered Soul.
I like that untethered soul. That's really good. I'm gonna have to read that one. I'm too trying to get more into me first before um worried about everybody else. So I like that untethered soul. So we'll definitely have to drop that in the feed.
And anytime there's a book, my favorite author is Paulo Coelho. He is who wrote The Alchemist. But
Yes.
my favorite book by him is a book called Veronica Decides to Die. And if you're looking for something to read that is like, well, everything he writes to me is like poignant. But Veronica Decides to Die it explores the idea of insanity and
Oh,
who gets to say who's insane, and beautifully written like all his work. So
Oh yeah, The Alchemist was the best. I read that like in 2 days. So
mhm,
I'm gonna have to check that book out. I definitely would. Thank you. And
mhm.
so with that being said, one more question for you. So what is your win for this week?
Whew, my win for this week. I was actually thinking about this. It's not going to sound like a big win, but do you know how, like, that feeling of satisfaction you get when you finish everything on a to do list? So today I finished everything on my to do list. Yesterday I finished everything on my to do list. So I feel like my big win has just been that. Like, that's been pumping me up.
Oh, I love it. That's Listen, that's a big accomplishment. I mean, you have a lot going on in your world and in your space. So kudos to you. I like that. I'd have to say my win for this week is actually I am planning a woman empowerment event here in Columbus, Ohio on August the 5th. And it's coming together. I'm excited to see that it's starting to come together with the help of my um, publicist and chief creative officer, who is Brooke
Yeah.
Young. So it's coming together. So it's going to be really cool how all see it all to come fruition on August the 1st. But that was my win, that we're moving forward and we're really being paying attention on how we're going to walk into the space of getting this huge goal to the finish line. So I can't wait for that. As we come to closing of the show, what would you like to leave our listeners and followers with?
Oh, ah. Um, I think I would like to leave followers with first with the idea that I am here for you. If you have something in your life that you are wanting to achieve and need a thought partner and somebody to help you walk through that, or if you are dealing with any challenges, barriers, things that are preventing you from moving forward, I definitely want to put my coaching services. I do walk and talk coaching, but I also do indoors and online. And I think really um, around the message of going for what you want is just to make sure that you are putting feet to your dreams. So
Mm,
whatever it is that you want, realize that believing it is only going to take you so far, and the way that you truly manifest the things that you want is by working every single day towards that thing.
absolutely. I love it. I think that's a perfect segue into closing out tonight's show. I want to thank you so much. This was fun. I could do this all day with you. I
Thank
would
you
love for
for
you to
having me.
come back again, but this was so
Right.
much fun. So don't go anywhere. Let me close out the show. Everybody, I hope you guys look. I'm not playing. I have my notes. Courtney has dropped some amazing gold nuggets that you can implement. She even gave one earlier in the show on what you can do now. If you've missed that, catch it on the replay. And also let me know by putting hashtag replay. But you guys, as I always end the show, I always say, you only have one life to live. Live your life as you want to live it and let no one live it for you. Knowing that you only have one life to live, do it. Go after your what's next and not let the woulda, coulda, shouldas hold you back. And also set your goals for you and not for anybody else. And let no one drive your life for them. Until next week, everyone, I want you to all know that you're all amazing, you rock, and take care of yourself.